Rainbows and unicorns, baby. Let's talk about the haves and the have-nots, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 7, Episode 17. And the name of this episode is On the Edge. And trust, I was on the edge the entire time this episode was, because this episode was crazy as shit. It was really good. So let me begin. It picks up where it left off, where Hannah and Benny are at the bank, and they come to find out that their bank account was overdrawn $4,000. So the money was there, and now it's not. And they're all puzzled, and immediately that damn Hannah starts on that damn sister of yours. And Benny was like, you don't even know if she has it or not. Like, y'all, you just forgave her. Like, don't start doing that shit again. And she's like, look, something's going on. And he's like, look, I asked Candace for some money not too long ago, and she told me she didn't have any. So something is behind this, but it may not be her. You know, give her the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, okay, I was with Benny on that, because you immediately start thinking she immediately went to blaming Candace for this shit. And then, but then she's kind of letting Benny know. So what ends up happening is that the bank teller says, I'm going to go do some research and find out where the money went. So and she took a minute, but while they were waiting, you know, Hannah's like, why the hell are you so calm, Benny? Like, both of these families are going to be after you. The Criers and the Malones, Mitch's family, they are going to come after you. Are you serious? And he was like, look, we need to find out what's going on. So let's not just, jump into, making, rash decisions. Let's find out what's going on. So the bank teller finally comes back, and she says that we did some research, and we come to find out there was a reverse notice in regards to the delivery. So the money was sent back to where it came from, and it came from the Crier company. Now they're relieved, thinking that the Criers got the money. But remember, when Candace was plotting her thing with Veronica, she told Veronica to create an account called the Crier Company, which she used to go into Oscar's laptop to wire the money to the Crier Company. So Candace does have the money. And if anything, after hearing this, Benny's kind of sidetracked, like, nah, this shit don't make no sense, because just the other day, Jim came to my house threatening me that he wanted his fucking money. Why would he do that? Because it said this actually took place a week ago. And it was just a few days that him and Jim had that exchange outside, where Jim says that if I don't get my money, you done. So Benny's wheels is turning. What's really going on? So then we go back to the Artesian, where Scott is in his room. RK comes in, and immediately he was saying, like, well, where's the girl? He's like, well, everybody be on their way here, but right now it's just you and me. And then he was trying to tell Scott to take his clothes off. He's like, you first. And then he was saying, so the president-elect stayed here? And RK was like, yeah, he did, And then finally Rocky shows up, and then he was saying that, you know what? Because he pretty much, before Rocky came in, he, RK offered to make Scott a drink. He goes over and makes a drink, and I was saying that the way he was making that drink, this nigga about to do some bullshit. And then all of a sudden, Rocky shows up, and then he was like, look, you guys like to party? You guys like to get drugs? And he was like, it's whatever. And then, like, all of a sudden Scott was like, you see, I got a little trick, that if I put this solution inside this, and if it changes colors, that means there's drugs in it. He poured his shit in the glass, the shit changed colors, like, oh, so this was a date rape drug. You were trying to drug me, huh? And then he was like, oh, no, it's nothing like that. and he's like, oh, so this is what you running? You was trying to drug me. You literally was trying to drug me. And then all of a sudden Rocky was like, look, it's under control. You know, I apologize for him. It's not looking like that at all. And then he was like, well, I hope you ready to find you a little pub up in London, because that's exactly where your ass is about to go. And he was like, excuse me? I'm like, so now he even got the tea on him. And then all of a sudden he was like, come on in. And then you see old Broderick's old weak ass come out. And he was like, you know, all of you are under arrest. And he was like, and they was like, arrest for what? He's like, look. And then like Broderick was like, look, he knows everything. And then RK was like, I don't know nothing. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. You ain't talking about me. He's like, oh yes, I know everything. I know all of you are involved. I know all of you are in this prostitution ring. So y'all all better start talking and giving me what I need to know, or your asses are getting arrested. Both of you will be deported, and RK, your ass is going to jail. And he's like, what the fuck you mean going to jail? I ain't do shit. And then all of a sudden, you know, Rocky starts spilling the beans. Oh yeah, Candace is the head of this shit. Yeah, that bitch beat me down with a golf club and all this shit, and I had to go to the hospital. He was like, oh yeah, I kind of saw that too. You know, you getting, pretty much rushed to the hospital. So yeah, she messed you up pretty bad, bruh. And then all of a sudden, you know, and then like RK was like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out. He's like, RK, you need to say something. What the hell are you doing? He's like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't with this, man. I ain't telling him nothing. And Scott was like, well, either you tell me what I need to know, because if you walk out that door, your ass is going to be arrested. He's like, well, fine, you can arrest my ass, because I ain't saying shit. RK goes out the damn room, and next thing you know, you see 2 FBI agents, and they literally chase his ass. And RK was running for his life. I was like, oh, we ain't Mr. Big Boy now. You talking all your shit. Now the FBI after you. That motherfucker bolted. Shoot. You would think his ass was running track. He just started jetting through the hallway. So then Scott really starts being a bulldog. Because I'm like, Scott's an evil piece of shit. Because Scott was like, well, and then all of a sudden he gets word, because as soon as RK left, he kind of pissed him like, oh yeah, he's leaving, pick him up. And then all of a sudden he gets word that he got away. He's like, oh, well, things have changed now. Because now that he's out there, you need to find him, or both of your asses are going to be deported, and you're going to be labeled as terrorists. And he's like, you can't do this. You said that if we gave you the information. He's like, well, the plan changed. You know, with this, I mean, it is what it is. I get what I want. You get what you want. Now that I don't have what I want, your things change. Now that he's out there, you guys are now in danger. So you need to go find his ass. And you need to do it now. I was like, oh shit. He got them by the balls. And I am just gagged, like, wow, just the viciousness of how Scott moves. It's just crazy. So then, we see Kathryn leaves another message for Broderick. And, you know, she finally gets Broderick on the phone. Broderick kind of rushes off the phone and was like, look, she's like, I've been calling you. He's like, yes, I'm sorry, I'm not calling you back, but it's been busy. You know, you need to talk to Laura if you need to talk, because I just really can't talk right now. And he just rushes off the phone, and I'm like, his ass scared as shit. And she's like, what the hell is going on? And she actually calls back and talks to Laura, and and she says that he just left. And she's like, where the hell did he go? Like, I'm sorry, ma'am, he just left. He's not here anymore. I don't know where he went. And she's like, well, make sure he calls me when he gets back. She's like, I will let him know. So that was done. And then she gets a call from Hannah. Hannah says that she's at the bank, and what happens is that the money it's been reversed back to their account because, the Crier Company. So they're thinking that Jim and them have it. She's like, okay, fine. Jim hasn't said anything to me about it, but I'll talk to him about it. Next thing you know, Jim finds Wyatt. Wyatt's old junky good for nothing ass is high as a damn kite. Like, his ass is literally stuck like literally just out of sight, out of mind, and out of reality. He's like trying to get Wyatt's attention. He even slaps Wyatt. Wyatt's ass is still done. And he's saying that, Wyatt, did you do some drugs? How did you get drugs? How did this happen? La la la. And he's kind of like berating Wyatt like, bruh, your son needs to be put in a facility where he has roundabout care. Him being in that house is not safe, not only for him, but for either one of you, because he is about to snap, and it's just a matter of time. So he's kind of going off. Kathryn is like, Jim, I need to talk to you. He's like, can't you see right now that our son is high as a kite? Like, that can wait. She's like, no, it can't wait. We need to talk right now. Let him sleep it off. We need to talk now, and we need to talk immediately. And then all of a sudden, Wyatt, so eventually Jim decides to leave Wyatt by his lonesome and goes to talk to Kathryn. Kathryn says that, I just got off the phone with Hannah. She said that the money was reversed back to the Crier Company account. And then he was like, the Crier Company? She's like, yes, so that means we have the money. And he was like, no the hell we don't. We don't have anything. This bitch is playing games. Like, are you serious? And she's like, Jim, like, what are you talking about? He's like, there is no Crier Company. That's not mine. Wherever the hell the money went, it sure as hell didn't come to me, but I'm gonna get to the bottom of this shit. And she's like, I told you to stay away from her son and to not bother her. He says, I don't give a shit. I gotta do what I gotta do. Get the hell out of my way. And he rushed up out of there, and she was like, you asshole. I was like, Jim is thirsty for that money because he only got $3,400 in his account with your broke ass. Let me quit. Alright, so yeah, he thirsty for that damn money. So then we see at Charles's house, him and Candace are there. She sees a picture of Charles when he was 16 years old. He actually was a break dancer in his teen years, and he said that he wanted to be the break dancing champion. And she's saying that, so let me find out you can get down. So she puts on that music. She says, bust a move. It's only me and you here. Show me what you got. Charles danced his ass off. I was thinking I was looking at Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo up in that bitch. He was getting it, doing the spins, doing the poses and all that. I was like, oh, check out Charles with his badass. You better do that. I was gagging. I was like, yes. Like, he had some damn good moves. Yeah, but shout out to Rick Sager, like, very talented. I was so here for that, And then all of a sudden, we see, so after that happened, they had a good moment. We see that the advisor that we saw in the previous episode comes back, and his name is Oliver, and he's actually played by the same actor who was in the who was on the sitcom Love Thy Neighbor. He played Hattie's grandson. It's fine ass. Because at first, when I first saw him in the episode, I think Tomorrow's Not Promised was the first time we saw him. I didn't recognize him at first until I saw it again, and then I said because his hair was different. Then I looked in his face. I'm like, oh my boy, oh my god, that's old boy from Love Thy Neighbor. That's what's good. I'm like, that's cool. Like, he got a new role, but his name is Oliver, and he says that, look, we need to talk. And then he had asked him. Charles had asked, did you see anything that happened in here? And he was like, no, sir. And then Candace was like, come on now. You saw it, didn't you? He was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, I knew it. Like, yeah, that was cool. But then, because they want to talk, Candace excuses herself and she leaves. And he pretty much tells him, it's getting worse. You got a phone call and it's Landon on the phone. He gets on the phone with Landon and he says that, let me tell you something, Landon. If you cannot stop this story from hitting, your ass is fired. You hear me? So, if this story gets out, you gonna see what happens. I'm like, oh shit, Landon, your life in danger. And this had nothing to do with Landon. This is something that's beyond Landon's grasp. But right now, he's like, your job was to clean her up and was to make everything good. And now this shit happened. So you better kill this story or that's your ass. I'm like, Landon, your ass may end up being 6 feet under over some shit that ain't even your fault. So then all of a sudden, Oliver was like, look, I think we need to get her a flight to Savannah and get her out of here. And then he says, did I ask you for your opinion, Oliver? He's like, but sir, he's like, did I ask you anything? He's like, no, sir. He's like, okay, so do what you're told. Get everything ready for the flight. And that's the end of it. I'm like, Charles, your cockiness and your narcissism is about to bite you in your ass. Because he don't want to let Candace go because he's in love with her. And they have a real genuine connection. But now the shit is about to get hot. And, Candace's whole reputation is about to be put, in the mainstream. So I was like, wow. So then we see that Veronica is still at the precinct. We see her sitting, and we see she's there waiting for Justin to be brought in. And we see the 5 guys that are brought in, and one of them looks at her. So that was the person she was talking to on the phone. He set that shit up, so now all these guys are in jail waiting for Justin to arrive. And then, so then afterwards, we see that we get a scene with Jeffrey and David. Jeffrey has packed his bag and he was about to leave. And he was like, you're gonna leave, son? Where you gonna go? He's like, what does it matter? You're still with mom, right? And if you're still with mom, I'm not gonna be living here with you. And he was like, look, don't you think that, he's like, there's a lot into this situation with me and your mother. Don't you think I want to take the law in my own hands and deal with her? And Jeffrey was like, then do it. He was like, I can't. We need her. He's like, need her for what? He was like, look, there's a lot of legal situations that we have going on that ties all of us. We need her expertise to take this sting off of us. And then he was like, well, what makes you think I wasn't trying to do the same thing with Justin? I mean, he lost everything because of her. Which is true. Which is said, in a way, I kind of feel sorry for Justin. Even though Justin's a piece of shit, he literally turned into a monster after Veronica pulled the rug from under him. And he's saying that, but the thing is, as far as Justin, he could have killed you. And Jeffrey's like, well, hell, maybe death is better than being a part of this family. And he was like, don't say that. Don't say that. But he says, I assure you, son, once this legal situation is done, I am done with her, and you can live in this house in peace, and all of that. And he pretty much decides to stay. And then all of a sudden, Veronica calls, and Veronica tells him, I'm at the police station. I need you to come by my house tonight. We can talk by the pool. We're not talking in the living room because you know why. I'm like, bitch, you brought that shit on yourself. You was not no victim. Yeah, it was fucked up that he hit you, but bitch, you keep poking the bear, you're gonna get bit. And that's pretty much what happened. And she just don't want to take no responsibility for that shit. Ain't like the nigga was just going around beating you. He just whooped your ass because you was doing too damn much. So after she gets off the phone with David, we see finally they bring in Justin, And then, we see that he knows the cop, and he's saying that, look, I'm telling you, she's lying. She's like, am I? Huh. You have no idea what you have done, huh? You have no idea what you have done. And they're trying to tell her, like, Miss Harrington, cut it out. And she's like, bye, girl. Enjoy jail. You rainbow and unicorns, baby. I was like, you evil bitch. Oh, she was trying it. And he kind of telling her, go to hell. You just go to hell. And she says that, yeah, and I hope them boys treat you nice up in there. And the officer was like, excuse me, he's a police officer. He will be in a private cell. She's like, okay then, bye girl, bye Tussie. Those some tight ass jeans you got on, girl. I was like, Veronica was straight up gagging and just doing the most up in the precinct. I was cracking the fuck up. I'm like, damn, you really feeling yourself. You felt some kind of way when he slapped the shit out of you, and now you want to do some bullshit, and you were just gagging because you knew what was about to go down. And then after they walked off, you saw that sinister look on her face. I'm like, look at her evil, mean ass. So then we get another scene with Jeffrey and David. And he tells Jeffrey that, look, I'm going to get this situation under control. But then Jeffrey says, oh, yeah, Madison said you need to keep your bandages checked and everything. And then he was like, well, son, can you help me? He was like, well, that's not my expertise. You should get him to do that. And he's like, oh, he's like, now, Dad, I know you're angry, but he meant the best. You should bring him back. Call him, bring him back, and let him take care of you. He's like, okay, fine, I'll call him later. So he's obviously gonna go to meet with Veronica, and Jeffrey knows it. So he's like, okay, handle your shit. It is what it is. So then we get a scene with Hannah and Benny. There's some flowers. There's some flowers at the thing, and it's obviously from Derek. She throws the flowers down, and she was like, what did he do, Ma? And besides, why would you throw down a beautiful bouquet of flowers? Shoot, I can use this for one of my pieces. And she's like, pieces? Yeah, one of my women. I'm like, see, Hannah's life would be so much better if she didn't have them kids. Them kids are the ones who are bringing all the turmoil in her life, because she has a good relationship with Kathryn, and Kathryn got that loan money. Shoot, Hannah would be living the life of luxury if it wasn't for Candace and Dan Benny, because both of them ain't shit. They both are just as treacherous, just as sneaky, and just as conniving. The only difference between the two is that Candace knows how to do it a lot better than Benny, because Benny, as I said, was that little boy with a bicycle helmet, eating Captain Crunch with no milk, playing with a CNC. Just saying. So, we pretty much got that going on. And he's still trying to ask, what did he do? What did he do? And she won't say anything. So then we see that Kathryn calls Hannah, and they talk, and she says that he says it's not his company. And she's like, what the hell is going on? Like, look, I don't know what's going on. I thought it was your company. He's like, look, Hannah, I know you have not done anything nefarious, so I'm not even worried about that. We'll get to the bottom of it. It's probably just a mix-up, and I'll call you later. And then immediately the wheels start turning in Benny's head. So while Hannah leaves the room, Benny calls Candace, and he was saying that, look, we just went to the bank, and the bank, the account's overdrawn. They said that that it was a reverse wire request. And Candace was like, okay, what does that have to do with me? She says, it was sent to the crier company. She's like, well, then that means they got it. And Benny's like, no, because this happened a week ago, and a few days ago, Jim was at my damn doorstep threatening me about getting his money back. And she's like, oh, he's threatening you? And he's like, yeah. It's like, oh, let me know if he threatened your ass again. He's like, look, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And all of a sudden, it starts to dawn on Candace, like, the Crier Company. Ding, ding, ding. She realized, oh. She's like, let me call you back, Benny. He's like, look, Candace, this is serious. She's like, look, I'll call you back. She pulls up that laptop and see that the money is now in her possession yet again. So here was me thinking, because I even thought on the last episode, because Jim did try to do a wire transfer. So either way, that money was going to be taken out that account. But it didn't go to Jim. It just got reversed and got sent back to the previous place, which was that account called the Crier Company that Candace created, you know, with the bank through Veronica. So I was like, damn. So Candace checked in and saw the 8 million, you know, plus up in that account. So then we see that RK just sneaks his ass and walks into Veronica's house, you know, and he's trying to tell Veronica, look, I need your help. They're after me. She's like, if you don't get the hell out of my house, little boy, what the hell are you here for? And she says that, look, it's the Attorney General. They done found out about what's going on at the Artesian. And she says, what was going on? A ring. She's like, what kind of ring? Prostitution. She's like, that's not my problem. He was like, look, you know I'm good for it. You know I got you. Like, please, I just need a place to lay low for a couple of days. And she was like, oh, you got my back, huh? Where's my jewelry? She says, well, besides the jewelry, please, please just help me. She's like, boy, get the hell out of my house. Get the hell out of my house. I had a bad day. I got a lot going on, and I don't want your ass around, so get the fuck out. And he was like, man, I should have snitched on Candace. She's like, Candace Young? And he was like, yeah, one in this name. And she's saying, so he said, so she's like, oh, so you didn't snitch on her? And he was like, well, no. And she was like, you should have did it. And he's like, come on, man, I ain't no snitch. And she's like, oh, so you with that ghetto code shit, no snitch? And then he's like, will you help me? And she was like, no. Now get the hell out of my house. And he's like, okay. All right, I'm remember that. She says, remember it. Write it down, take a picture. Get the hell out of my house. He's like, okay. And she says, and don't bring your ass back. And he's like, I won't come back. And then all of a sudden there was a ring at the door. And she's like, who is it? The FBI. I was like, that motherfucker ran up the steps. She was like, come down from there, boy. She opens up the door and she's like, he's upstairs. She's like, Veronica Harrington, you need to come with us. And she's like, excuse me, do you have a warrant? And the guy was like, we're not local police, we're FBI. So either you can come with us or we can arrest you. So cut the charade and get your ass in the car. I'm like, he was just real smug with her ass. Because she been playing this game and been talking all this shit. The FBI is like had it up to here with Veronica and her shenanigans. She was like, oh, when I get to the bottom of this, I'm going to have both of your badges. You obviously don't know who you fucking with. And she's like, let me grab my purse. And he's like, no, let's go now. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, so you want to try me today too? It's just everybody want to try Veronica today. Okay, fine. Let's go on the fuck on and let's get to the bottom of it. So she ends up leaving with the FBI. His ass come downstairs. RK is feeling himself. He's like, yeah, I got the house to myself now. I'm about to change some shit up around here. Let's see what's up in the kitchen. I'm like, niggas. And that's all I was saying in my mind. Like, look at this fool just being real niggerish up in Veronica's house. I'm like, Veronica gonna kill that boy when she get back. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, that tickled me. So after that went down, we see at the precinct, Jeffrey is being escorted to his cell by Ray. Ray was the officer, the new officer that Veronica was talking to, and he's saying like, come on, man, you know I didn't do this. Come on, Ray. Like, look, you need to call somebody for me. He says, who you want me to call? Call Jeffrey Harrington. He can come through for me. He's like, You want me to call the son of the woman who told us to come arrest you? I ain't doing that shit, bruh. He's like, come on, man, help me. He's like, no. And then he threw him in the jail. He's like, you son of a bitch. And then all of a sudden we see the dudes, the goons, like, the thing is, Jeffrey's in a cell So Justin is in a cell by himself, but the goons that Veronica sent are in the cell right next to his. And, you know, he's looking around and everything. He sees the guys are looking at him like he a good old snack, you know, that they about to bite into. And he's like, what the hell are y'all looking at? So he's kind of went over to the left. And then as soon as he went over by the bars where they were, they immediately grabbed him, start punching him and everything. And they about to take his cookie and just steal his pitches and creams like there's no tomorrow. So I was like, ooh, shit. I was like, damn. Ooh, like Veronica is so fucking evil. It's like the same shit she pulled on Wyatt. She pulled on Justin, but did it 5 times even worse. So they gonna be taking turns taking, you know, his man buns. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be some messy shit. And from when we looks at it, that, you know, the question is, did Justin get killed? Did Justin die because of that shit? I guess in time we'll find that out. But that's where it ended, where they attacked him and they beating him in, and then you see that they pull his pants down. So we know what's about to happen. That's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But yeah, this episode had me like literally on the edge, like holy shit. Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots. So until next time, everybody, take care.